If your cat displays affection toward you, you probably think you have a good relationship, don't you? They purr when you pet them. They sleep on your bed sometimes. Maybe they even sit on your lap occasionally. And honestly, that seems like a cat who likes you. But here's what most cat owners never understand, and what completely changes how you interpret your cat's behavior. Liking you and feeling safe with you are two completely different things. And while your cat might tolerate your presence, even enjoy certain interactions, the deepest level of trust, the kind where they feel genuinely, completely safe in your presence, shows up in very specific body language signals that most owners see every day without recognizing them for what they actually are. Because here's the truth that reframes everything. Cats are both predators and prey animals. This dual nature means they're constantly, unconsciously assessing their environment for threats. Even in the safest home with the most loving owner, their nervous system is running background threat detection every moment they're awake. But when a cat truly feels safe, when they've assessed you so thoroughly and positively that you register as zero threat, their body language changes in measurable ways. They do things that go against every survival instinct they have. And these behaviors aren't random or meaningless. They're your cat telling you, in the only language they have, "You are my safe place." Most owners miss at least 5 of these 7 signals, not because they're not paying attention, but because nobody ever taught them what safety actually looks like in cat body language. Let me show you what your cat is really saying when they feel completely secure in your presence, because once you recognize these signals, you'll understand your relationship at a depth most cat owners never reach. 1. The slow motion blink while lying down. We've talked about slow blinking before at Whisker Wisdom, but there's a specific variation that means something even deeper than the standing slow blink. Does your cat ever lie down in full view of you, completely relaxed, and then slowly blink at you while remaining in that vulnerable position? This isn't just trust. This is layered vulnerability. Here's what makes this different. When your cat slow blinks while standing or sitting, they can still move quickly if needed. But when they slow blink while lying down, especially on their side or in a sprawled position, they're combining the visual vulnerability of closing their eyes with the physical vulnerability of being in a position where rapid escape is impossible. Research on feline rest positions and security shows that cats only achieve fully relaxed lying positions when they assess their environment as completely safe. So when your cat is lying down, comfortable enough that their guard is already lowered, and they choose that moment to also close their eyes slowly while looking at you, they're telling you something profound. Not only do I trust you, but I trust you so completely that I can be doubly vulnerable, position plus vision, and still feel safe. This is often accompanied by soft paws that are tucked under them or extended loosely, not tensed and ready to spring into action. The combination of relaxed lying position, slow blink, and soft paw posture is the trifecta of "I feel completely safe right now, and you're the reason why." 2. The belly exposure that stays exposed. Everyone knows that when cats show their belly, it can mean trust. But here's the distinction most owners miss. Does your cat roll over to show you their belly and then stay in that position for an extended period? Or do they immediately tense up when you look at them? Because those are two completely different communications. A belly flash. Rolling over briefly to show the belly, then immediately rolling back or tensing when you approach, is a greeting or playful invitation. It shows some trust, but it's not the deep safety signal we're talking about. But a cat who exposes their belly and remains in that position, relaxed and loose, while you're nearby or even while you're looking directly at them, is demonstrating total security. The belly contains all their vital organs. It's the most vulnerable part of their anatomy. In any threatening situation, protecting the belly is priority 1. Research on feline defensive postures confirms that sustained belly exposure only occurs in contexts of complete security. Your cat's nervous system has to be in full parasympathetic mode, rest and digest, not fight or flight, for them to maintain this position. And here's the detail that tells you this is specifically about safety with you. If your cat does this when you're in the room but stops when someone else enters, you're their specific safe person. They've categorized you differently than other humans, as someone who has earned this level of vulnerability display. The belly exposure that stays exposed, accompanied by slow breathing and relaxed limbs, is your cat saying, "I am completely defenseless right now, and I'm choosing to be that way in your presence because you make me feel safe enough to afford it." 3. The direct eye contact with soft eyes. This one surprises people because we're often told that cats find direct eye contact threatening. And that's true, for cats who don't feel safe. But here's what changes when trust is present: the quality of the eye contact. Does your cat ever look directly at you with eyes that are neither wide and alert nor narrowed in aggression, but soft, slightly squinted, and relaxed? This is called soft eyes in behavioral literature, and it's completely different from the hard stare cats give to threats or prey. Research on feline facial expressions and emotional states found that eye aperture and muscle tension around the eyes are reliable indicators of emotional valence, whether the cat is experiencing positive or negative emotions. Soft eyes, where the upper and lower lids are slightly relaxed, making the eye opening appear smaller and the gaze gentle, indicate a positive, relaxed emotional state. When your cat looks at you with soft eyes and holds that gaze, they're doing something they would never do with a threat. They're looking directly at you without needing to assess for danger, without needing to prepare for fight or flight. They're looking at you the way they might look at a pleasant sunrise, just observing something that makes them feel good. And if they combine soft eyes with a slow blink while maintaining this direct gaze, that's your cat essentially saying, "I can look at you fully, vulnerably, with my guard completely down, because you've never given me a reason to be defensive." The contrast is stark when you compare this to how cats look at strangers or perceived threats: wide eyes, dilated pupils, high muscle tension, gaze that tracks movement obsessively. Your cat looking at you with soft, half-closed eyes is choosing relaxation over vigilance. That's not just trust. That's deep safety. If you're starting to realize your cat has been broadcasting, "I feel safe with you," in ways you never recognized, that's exactly what Whisker Wisdom is about. Subscribe so you become fluent in what your cat is really communicating every single day. And stay with me, because the next 4 signals are even more subtle, and the last one is the safety signal most owners never see at all. 4. The turn back. This is the signal that owners most frequently misinterpret as rejection or indifference, and it's actually one of the clearest safety communications a cat can give. Does your cat sit or lie down with their back to you, sometimes for extended periods? If so, congratulations, you've achieved elite trust status. Here's the biology that makes this meaningful. Cats need to visually monitor potential threats. Their eyes are their early warning system. When a cat turns their back to you, they are voluntarily eliminating their ability to monitor you for threatening behavior. They can't see what you're doing. They can't track your movements. They can't prepare for sudden actions. This is only possible when their threat assessment system has categorized you as so thoroughly safe that monitoring you is unnecessary. Research on feline spatial behavior and social context shows that cats in colony situations reserve backturning for the most trusted individuals, usually bonded pairs or family members. But here's the layer most owners miss. When your cat sits with their back to you, they're often still oriented to monitor other areas of the environment. They're facing the door, or the window, or the area where threats might actually come from. They've essentially designated you as the safe zone and positioned you at their back while they watch for real threats. You've become the protected rear flank in their defensive strategy. This is particularly meaningful if your cat does this consistently. It's not a one-time accident. It's a deliberate, repeated choice that says, "I have assessed you thoroughly, and I'm so confident in your non-threatening nature that I can afford to not watch you." If your cat turns their back to you and then falls asleep in that position, you've reached the pinnacle of this particular trust signal. They're not just confident you won't hurt them while they're watching elsewhere. They're confident you won't hurt them while they're completely unconscious and vulnerable. 5. The slow approach followed by contact. Let's talk about how your cat approaches you when they want interaction, because the pacing and quality of the approach reveals volumes about their sense of safety. When your cat wants to be near you, do they approach quickly and directly, or do they take their time, meander, maybe stop to sniff something or look around, and then eventually make contact? The slow, meandering approach is actually the high-trust version. Here's why. A cat approaching a resource they're worried might disappear or be denied tends to move quickly and directly. There's urgency. They need to secure the resource before the opportunity vanishes. This is the approach you see when a cat is uncertain about whether they'll be welcomed. But a cat who approaches slowly, pausing, taking detours, showing no urgency? That's a cat who has zero concern that you'll reject them or disappear before they arrive. They're so confident in your availability and receptiveness that they can afford to take their time. They might stop to groom, or investigate a scent, or just sit down partway through the approach and look around before continuing. Research on approach behavior in animals shows that approach speed often inversely correlates with security. The more secure the animal feels about the outcome, the less urgency they display. Your cat's leisurely approach is them communicating, "I know you're a sure thing. I know you'll still be there and still welcome me whenever I decide to complete this approach." And then when they do make contact, a gentle headbutt, rubbing against your leg, sitting just next to you, they're completing a sequence that says, "I chose to be near you, on my timeline, because being near you is inherently pleasant, not because I'm seeking a specific resource urgently." The slow approach followed by voluntary contact is your cat demonstrating secure attachment. They're not anxious about your availability. They're not uncertain about your response. They know you're safe, and they're taking their time to enjoy the approach itself because the destination is guaranteed. 6. The kneading while making eye contact. Most cat owners know that kneading is a sign of contentment. It's a behavior left over from kittenhood when they kneaded their mother's belly to stimulate milk flow. But there's a specific variation that signals deep safety. Kneading while simultaneously looking at your face. Here's why this matters. Kneading is an inherently vulnerable behavior. The cat is in a regressed, kitten-like state. They're focused on the rhythmic motion, often with claws extended, not fully alert to their environment. It's a behavior that requires feeling safe enough to mentally check out into contentment. When your cat needs you and also maintains visual contact with your face, they're doing something remarkable. They're splitting their attention between a vulnerable, regressive comfort behavior and actively engaging with you socially. They're not just feeling safe enough to need, they're including you in that safe, content space emotionally. Research on feline social behavior during comfort behaviors found that cats engaged in self-soothing activities, grooming, kneading, while in the presence of bonded individuals showed different hormonal profiles than cats performing the same behaviors alone. The presence of the trusted individual actually enhanced the calming effect of the behavior. When your cat looks at you while kneading, their soft eyes, their slow blinks, their relaxed facial features, all of this combined with the kneading motion, they're telling you, "You are so associated with safety and comfort that looking at you actually enhances my contentment. Your face is part of what makes this moment feel good." This is different from a cat who kneads with eyes closed, also trust, but more internally focused, or a cat who kneads while looking away, contentment but not specifically directed at you. The eye contact during kneading is your cat actively including you in their safe, happy space rather than just tolerating your presence while they self-soothe. 7. The pre-sleep ritual performed in your presence. Here's the safety signal that's so subtle most owners never connect it to trust, but it's actually one of the most reliable indicators. Does your cat have a pre-sleep routine? Maybe grooming themselves thoroughly, adjusting their position multiple times, circling, kneading their sleeping spot, and do they perform this entire ritual while you're watching? Here's why this matters more than you think. Sleep preparation behaviors are highly vulnerable activities. Your cat is essentially announcing, "I'm about to become unconscious in this location." In the wild, where and how you sleep is literally a life or death decision. The pre-sleep ritual is part of securing the sleeping location and ensuring it's safe enough for the profound vulnerability of sleep. When your cat performs this ritual in full view of you, they're doing several things at once. First, they're not hiding their sleep location from you. Prey animals typically hide their sleeping spots from potential predators. Your cat is doing the opposite, showing you exactly where they'll be at their most vulnerable. Second, they're not waiting for you to leave before settling. If your cat watches you nervously and only settles to sleep after you've left the room, that's a different communication. They're okay with you, but prefer privacy for vulnerability. But a cat who goes through their entire settling routine while you're right there? They've assessed your presence as not just neutral, but potentially protective. Third, and most significantly, they're timing their descent into unconsciousness to coincide with your presence, not your absence. Think about what that means. Sleep is when your cat is least able to defend themselves. And they're choosing to enter that state while you're in the room, because some part of their threat assessment system has decided that you being nearby actually makes them safer, not less safe. Research on sleep location selection in cats shows that cats preferentially sleep in locations and at times when they feel most secure. If your cat's most secure sleeping context is when my person is present, you've become part of their safety infrastructure. The full pre-sleep ritual in your presence, grooming, positioning, settling, and then actually falling asleep while you watch, is your cat saying, "I am about to be completely helpless. And I have chosen to be completely helpless here, now, with you watching, because you are part of what makes this moment safe." What all of this really means, so let's bring this together. When your cat slow blinks while lying down, shows you their belly and stays that way, makes soft eye contact, turns their back to you, approaches you slowly, kneads while looking at you, and performs their sleep ritual in your presence, they're not just showing you affection. They're showing you layered, sophisticated trust that goes beyond "I like you" into "I feel fundamentally safe in your presence." Each of these behaviors requires your cat to override a survival instinct. Every single one makes them more vulnerable. And they're choosing that vulnerability specifically in your presence, which means they've done the neurological math and concluded that the safety you provide exceeds the risk the vulnerability creates. That's not sentimentality. That's not just a cute cat being cute. That's a prey animal making calculated decisions about when and where it's safe to let their guard down, and they're consistently choosing you as the context in which vulnerability is acceptable. And here's the profound part. Your cat probably does some of these things with you and not with other family members. Or they do all of them with you but only one or two with someone else in the household. These behaviors aren't random or spread equally. They're specifically calibrated to how safe each individual makes them feel. You didn't just adopt a cat. You built a relationship so secure that a predator-prey animal feels safe enough with you to display behaviors they might not show anyone else in the world. At Whisker Wisdom, we believe in recognizing the profound trust our cats offer us every day. If this helped you see that your cat has been saying, "I feel safe with you," in 7 different ways, share it with someone whose cat is saying the same thing. Your cat can't tell you, "You make me feel safe." They don't have words for, "I trust you with my life," or, "Your presence is where I feel most secure." But they can lie down and blink slowly. They can show you their belly and leave it exposed. They can look at you with soft eyes. They can turn their back and fall asleep. They can approach you slowly because they know you'll still be there. They can knead while watching your face. They can settle down for sleep while you watch. Every single one of these is a sentence in the language of safety. And when you see them, when you recognize them for what they actually are, you're reading the love letter your cat has been writing you in body language. You are their safe place. Their secure base. The presence that makes vulnerability possible instead of dangerous. That's not just a good relationship. That's the kind of trust that most cat owners hope for and never quite achieve, usually because they never learned to recognize when they'd already earned it. Your cat has been telling you all along. Now you finally know how to see it. And maybe tomorrow, when they turn their back to you or show you their belly or slowly blink while lying down, you'll understand the depth of what they're really saying. I feel safe with you. Completely, truly, deeply safe. And I'm showing you in the only way I know how. That's the relationship you've built. That's the trust you've earned. And it's been there all along, written in body language you never learned to read. Until now.